Hi everybody, it's Greg D'Amico here. Looks like I'm waiting for this to get started. Okay, I am not confident that this is live. And live video now. Okay, it looks like it is. So, hi everybody, Greg D'Amico. I have a company called Efficient, and we do custom software, mobile e-commerce, and SaaS development for clients. And I've been mentoring now with AO for since probably a year now, I guess it's been, and getting back with you guys. I've got some good questions here and wanted to share that. But again, a little bit of history. My early career was in investments. I started a financial planning firm that evolved into a money management and also into a mutual fund company that ended up having some really nice success in the late 90s and rode the wave up, and it was pretty exciting. So we the market ended up crashing in the early 2000s, and I saw the future being connectivity through software. I went to India and set up my own office over there, and with that, I developed a team of developers, and now it's in this world that I'm in. It's my team in India, my clients, and myself working to evolve software applications, customize them, and also creating some of my own products for myself, which puts me in a space where a lot of your questions come from. So hopefully we can use some of these experiences to help you guys evolve your businesses, your lives, and get rid of some of your frustrations. So with that, let's jump into the first question. Okay, so what is this is from Stephen Davis, and Stephen asked the question, what is your advice regarding how to handle prospects that are solely focused on price? Business description and background. SUD Consulting LLC specializes in human resources, workers' compensation, and financial issues that companies face. We represent multiple professional employment organizations, PEOs. The reason I'm asking the question is that I'm currently dealing with a prospect who is solely focused on price, regardless of value. The prospect is a sizable company that has a great influence in their industry. Obviously, you can only reduce the price so far, but what is the best way to manage the situation? I do not want to lose a prospect and potential future referral business. So, okay, Stephen, here is some of my feedback. Of course, in something like this, it's best to demonstrate value. And you said that they're not concerned about value, but are you doing your part to ask the questions, dig in on somewhat of a consulting role to figure out what is the value that they need? And what I did with my company when I thought I was just another software company out there. And yeah, I can build applications and I can do it for a certain price. I can usually do it less price because I have a team in India, so that gives me a little bit of an edge pricing wise, but I didn't like that idea just around pricing. So through one of the guys who started the Entrepreneurs Organization, Vern Harnish, I read his newsletter, and he sent out a recommendation of a book called Sales Differentiation by Lee Saltz, S-A-L-Z. And I read the book, and it blew me away. Great awareness, understanding, looking at so many different ways you can differentiate yourself. And I just didn't think about business in a lot of these ways as I was presenting myself to my clients. So once I read the book, I was so intrigued with it and felt that there was more there. I ended up calling up Lee, and the phone number was in the book. I ended up talking to Lee, and in the process, I developed a relationship with him and spent money with him to do consulting for my business to help map this out a little bit more clearly. There's so much content and material in the book that with just a general idea about your business, you can look at it in ways that are so much more different than you thought of. You can look at your business and differentiating it from how you package the products that you sell, how you send out the emails and communicate, how you deliver products, the timing of things that you do, how you price, not only the amount that you price, but how are you charging your clients, on what type of approach do you have for making it easier for them to pay, to making them pay over a period of time. Just so many different things you can do, and a way to present that to clients that makes them stand up and say, "You've just hit my hot button. That's what I want to have that will work for me. I will pay you the money because you are doing what is going to make my life easier, make my company better, make my company more efficient." So looking at all that, that's a way that I could dig in. It's hard to answer your question based on the information you give to provide more examples, but I think with reading that book and getting an idea for yourself about how you look at your business and how these examples are portrayed in the book will allow you to easily jump in and be able to create a awareness and a program that's going to work for you. Hope that helps, Stephen. Let me know. Next question is sent by Bob Giger, I think is how you say his last name. Bob. Bob's question is, how do you know when to call it quits on a business idea? Business description and background of question. Over the past decade, I've launched 5 or 6 businesses, set up e-commerce sites, obtained sales, then stopped when I didn't believe I could turn a profit. Now with my current venture, I'm in the same spot, and I'm not sure if I should push forward or switch gears to one of my entrepreneurial ideas. Elevator pitch. Over the past 2 years, developed a skincare and massage product that I'm looking to build a brand and company around. Okay, interesting here, Bob. Let's dig into this a little bit. So calling it quits means what to you? So where were you, and how far along did you get? What were you doing to call it quits? Was it because you said you weren't making money, but was it because you weren't making money because you weren't getting enough sales? Was it making enough money because you weren't obtaining enough profitability on this? Or are you like me and you're jazzed by the idea of starting something up, but are not pushing through with it? And so if you're not pushing through, your strengths may be starting it up. Who's there to help you with pushing through? Do you have a partner? Do you hire other people? Those are some things to think about, that when you're really good at one part, what is the other part that of a partner or somebody you can bring in to help you push you to the next level? So I have some general questions around the process for you of what you've done, like on pricing your product. Okay, when you look at your situation and you price your product, are you doing that? In pricing a product cannot be an organic approach. Okay, you have to go to the beginning and you have to look at all the steps involved. What is it going to take to make? What are the ingredients that are going to take this? We'll use your example of the massage cream. Okay, so what is it going to take to create this product, and what's the ingredients? And then what's it going to take to mix those ingredients up so that you are creating the product? Then what's it going to take to put the product into materials to hold and distribute? So what are the canisters or cans or whatever that's going to hold it? And then what's the cost for that? What's to obtain those, and so forth? And then what's it going to take to deliver your product to the marketplace, whether it's putting it in a retail store, getting it to the retail stores, or to ship it out through some type of online e-commerce aspect. So when you look at all that all those areas that you're trying to look at, and then also on top of that, the time involved in the people. That's usually missed a lot. Oh yeah, I got all this stuff. It only cost me this to put it together, but you're not looking at the time it takes for somebody to do a lot of the work involved in those different steps. When you factor that all in, what is the cost of your product? From there, looking at the marketplace. Okay, again, back to your example of skincare massage product. What are other skincare massage products charging in the marketplace? That's an easy Google search. That is looking at the different scenarios. That is looking at your target market of who you're going after and what those other products are selling to and are selling for in your target market. When you do that, you're going to get an idea of what the top line is, potential opportunity, what the costs are, and what that number is in between. That's going to be your gross profit margin, which could be the net result of looking at it from the net profit margin when you factor in your other fixed cost of having the housing around you or the space around you to do the work, the space and the people around you to get the work done. So those factors need to be looked at and analyzed so that you can really come up to this situation. Okay, so and talking about your product some more, then what is what research have you done to look at that product and look at it in the marketplace? And when you look at it in the marketplace, what is the way that you can niche it out? Like in the previous question, I talked about sales differentiation. So looking at you, like if most products in your marketplace are charging, say, $100 for this cream, and you cannot create your cream and sell it for less than 150 so you can make money. Well, is there a target market that's niched out from the general market of who you're selling to that is willing to pay for a higher end cream because it has advantages to it that most other creams don't have? That it allows for the process to be faster, that allows for the process to be better, that allows for some other value-oriented aspect of what you're doing that's going to allow you to be to the people feel that value is there so they can charge more for it. Another thing to be thinking about that you will see in the sales differentiation book is perceived value. A lot of times you have value in your product and it doesn't cost you anything more to have this value, and it's just the perceived value of the way people look at it. And if you can turn things in the right angle so people can see it more clearly, then they can zero in on understanding the value and realizing that what they're paying for is worth it so that they will spend the money with you. Okay, so there's a lot more that can go in here, but given the amount of information you've given me, that's the generalities around that picture that I would build some idea and understanding and accumulate those data points so that I can make better decisions and determine about getting in and out of those products. Now, one other thing I'll add is that one of my coaches in the SaaS, software as a service space, talks about going into your channel. Okay, what is your channel you're selling through? You said you set up different products over time, e-commerce sites and different sales and so forth. What is the way you're selling your product? Is it, say, through Facebook? Is it through a retail outlet where you're distributing to a retail store? What is that, and how deep are you going, and how long? Did you take a year of working on that one channel, or did you start with it for a little bit and then switch gears? Okay, my coach says that you got to dig into one particular channel for 1 year. Okay, the one scenario, one channel for 1 year. Push it and push it and push it until you develop traction and you're getting enough iteration and time involved in it to give you feedback to make other adjustments on what you're providing that marketplace. So keep that in mind and look forward to hearing any thoughts that you have about that situation. Next question. Alicia Francis asks the question, what is your opinion on holding companies? Do you currently use them with your business, and what are the pros and cons? Business description and background question. We operate a service-based company. In the winter, we do snow removal, so there is some risk of being sued if someone were to slip and fall. We have business insurance, of course, but we have been told a holding company can also help to protect our business. We are considering starting a holding company to hold all of our equipment or any type of litigation with our operating company wouldn't affect our assets. Okay, Alicia. First of all, giving me this question, this would be probably something a little bit more appropriate for Tab Burkharter, who is a CPA and an attorney, and he can maybe give you some more insight. So I would also pose this question to him, who I think he's still currently a mentor for AO. So with that, though, I do have some experience here. So I would say that you could do a few things. You could set up multiple LLCs. If you did that, then you could have the equipment company held in one LLC, and you could have the service environment in another LLC. So you have the equipment and assets placed in one protective entity, and you could have the service where people pay you. What you would need to do, though, is then you would have to continue to build. You would take the service company and you would build the equipment holding company for services rendered and back and forth. And you would have two LLCs set up, the cost of two LLCs. You'd have two accounting systems having to set up. You'd have to pay for two separate accounting on both the systems, which could be $2,000 to $4,000 or $5,000 a year for each one. You got accounting costs. It could be $30, $50 a month for an Outlook or a Zero type thing. I think that's a lot and overdoes it in the way I would look at it. It may not in your situation, so there's some other details that need to be factored in. In my experience, though, what I would do is I would look at adding an umbrella policy to my basic business liability. Umbrellas are usually pretty cheap. You can get them personally. That cover things. You can look at it from the business perspective, and if sometimes adding a few $100s, you can get $1 to $3 million liability. So sometimes, I mean, the umbrellas are covered a lot on a personal, or you can look at the business to jack up the protection. So it's multi-millions there, and that would allow you to keep everything under one entity, minimize the cost of creating multiple entities, and make sure that you have adequate protection. So yes, we are a litigious society, and because of that, we have to cover our basis and cover our bottoms to make sure that we're protected. I would consider that the fact that the liability coverage would be most advantageous for you because it's going to be most cost effective. With the minimizing, I mean, the chance of getting sued are there, but they're somewhat small too. So factor that in and see if that would help you when you check with some insurance people about that, and really dig into what your real risk are relative to the protection that you can get to cover those. Hope that helps. Next question. Lindsay Lannon. Lindsay asks, what are the best credit cards to get for a business bank account? Business description and background question. I own a chocolate company and want to know more about setting up an account for my business. There are a lot of options, and I was curious as to what the best path was to take. Elevator pitch. I sell chocolates with ingredients collected from direct trade farms in sustainability sourcing packaging. Okay, Lindsay. So first of all, a lot of history here with using different types of credit cards for my business, having different experiences with them, and so forth. What I would say in looking at some other people I've talked to in a situation I had, that I would stay away from Capital One. Okay? If things go bad in your business and you have a situation where you've accumulated too much debt and you do that, you end up having you can end up having a card that, like Capital One, that will do a lot of things. They will report you no matter what, and other companies may not. In my history, have not reported. When I had a company called 1-800 Got Junk, I had somebody operating it. They didn't do a good job operating it. I kept asking every month, "Are we doing okay? Are we covering our costs?" Because we're really weren't making money. So, but are we covering a cost? And he kept saying yes. Well, to him, covering the cost meant that he was paying the minimums on a credit card, even though the credit card balances were going up and up and up. Anyway, that company went under, and in the regards to that, I had multiple credit cards using to cash flow that business, and when that happened, the two cards on there two other cards I had, they never reported. I was able to work out a settlement with them. Capital One was not able to work out with. They reported to the credit agencies, and they caused a lot of problems, and they were very hard to negotiate with. So from a business perspective, and looking at it for your future and who is going to, if the situation got bad, of course, this is only if things could go bad, but there's always that potential in business that I would stay away from Capital One. Now, I use the American Express Delta card for my business, and I run a lot of money through that, and it gives me an advantage. I have status on Delta because I fly Delta a lot for one, and one, I'm using the credit card that builds up miles. And given COVID and stuff and not being able to travel much, I got like 500,000 miles on my account to use. So it gives me some good, attractive opportunities of building it up. And so maybe you look at a card for your respective airline, or another card is going to give you some type of other benefits. Some give you cash back. I haven't found them to be like, I haven't experienced a lot with that. I thought it was spend a lot to get a nominal amount. I thought the advantages of the airlines made more sense for me. So it's up to personal preference for one. The other thing to say about credit cards, if and I don't carry balances on my credit cards. Back when I had balances and problems, I always said that I would be in a situation where I never carry balances on my credit cards. I use them to transact and to accumulate some type of other advantage like the Sky Miles. I do not, and maybe in a time in the future I will get in a situation where I have to accumulate a balance, but I'm completely against carrying balances at such high interest rates. One of the things you can do with a credit card, with different credit, if you happen to have balance, is to look for the incentive cards that get mailed to you that have promotional time periods. The next year, no interest rate. Okay, or you pay $100 and you don't have any interest rate, which could save you $1,000 or more dollars in interest, depending on what type of balance you have. So, and then when that promotional period ends, as you're allowing yourself to put more money into paying down that debt, less of it going to interest, more going to the balance of what you have accumulated on your card, you can switch to another promotional at that time. Not always saying they'll always be out there, but right now interest rates are so low at basically nothing. And if you have a card that's charging you 15-20% interest, it's utterly ridiculous spending that type of interest on a card. To be looking at other options for refinancing, or to another card that will give you a promotional rate for a period of time. Realizing that they'll jack the rate up on you too, but then you switch cards again, at least till you can have a stable card that you have minimal balance or no balance at all. Okay? That is my experience with credit cards, and I hope that helps. So, next question is Merrill, M-E-R-I, Merrill, hi, and last name is Racolello. I know I messed that up. Sorry about that. So questions they ask. How do I determine how to pay someone to do work for me? Business description and background question. I have a therapy machine for horses and have now found a person to hire and use it. What would be the best salary alternative, hourly paid or per treatment? One treatment is 30 minutes and a minimum charge of $50. The person knows a lot of people and is located in a training center for horses, and there's a demand right away. I'm a veterinarian currently working with small animals as a contractor. Quotes, permanent resident sponsoring process ongoing, unquote. Okay, so interesting question. I like this question. It's looking at what you can do and how you charge, because this is usually a key to making sure that you're maintaining some type of profitability on how you charge people. Now, if you have a business that is constant flow of transactions taking place, people coming in, people spending money, let's think of it as like a retail store, and you've got people walk in, you got them spending, and maybe up 1 month, maybe down. In that situation, a lot of times it's great to hire people to be there on an hourly basis for a certain number of hours, or full-time type basis or part-time type basis, to cover the traffic time periods and to have somebody there to create sales for you or process the sales as the people come in to buy. Other times that is not the best way to do it, because you could be paying for people or a variety of overhead that is not being you when you're not having sales. And in some cases you can have a long period of not having sales and you're still paying for a lot of overhead. So in your situation, okay, I would look at a few different things. What is the market rate for your product? You said charging $50. Is that what other people are charging? Is that what the marketplace is charging for your services? Are your services unique? Is anybody else doing what you're doing? I'm not familiar with this marketplace, so whatever your therapy you're doing on the horses, how much value does that create in the mindset of the people that you're servicing? Okay. For example, say you're working on thoroughbreds and your treatment for the horses can make them run faster. Okay, what is somebody willing to pay for that? Even though it may take so much time and treatment with the machines and so forth, then what is the cost, or what is the amount that you could charge? Is that, you said $50 an hour, that could be a $500 an hour, that could be a $5,000 an hour type of process. Or, I'm sorry, you said $50 for 30 minutes. So one or the other, looking at it just at that perspective, what is the value that you're offering, and what is the marketplace willing to pay for it? If they're already paying for that, paying for what you're doing, and with the machine that you have, then you got to look at the cost of the machine. You got to look at other aspects of what is there that goes into the profitability for what you're charging. And then you're saying, well, how do I pay the person? That's your main point of your question. How do I pay the person? In this situation, and what you've described to me here, is that paying for per treatment is going to give you the minimal amount of risk in this business. Because if you put it out to this person, and if they are motivated by getting more treatments because they get paid for every treatment they do, that automatically builds into somebody that's not only you're paying them to provide a service to people, you're also paying them for the so-called commission of marketing your business. Okay, and you got to factor that in too, because if they are out getting a lot of people and selling this, then you're going to be making more money, and you want to make sure they're motivated and incentivized to not only provide the service, but to do so in a way that the more they get you, the more they can, that everybody can make money. They can make money, and you can make money. You said that they know a lot of people. They're located in a training center. So what is that aspect of it? Now, factoring in what you charge here is something to keep in mind so you can maximize your profitability. He says he's located in a training center, or she. In regards to that, what is the time to travel to the next service? Okay, I've gone through Kentucky. I see big, massive horse farms out there, and say you're at one horse farm, it's going to take you 10 miles or 20 miles to get to the next horse farm. So in a day's time period, you can only get, say, 4 different treatments in, because each place, maybe you serve one horse, maybe you serve 3 or 4 horses, then you have to travel to the next one. So you have to factor the time involved in a day, how many treatments you can do, how many other things are involved, to make sure that you're pricing this at a level that gives you the maximum profitability that you can get off of this product. So there's a lot of things to look at here in considering this, but for the most part, let's look at the key in summary here would be to look at the marketplace. What are they charging? And then what is the cost that you wait? So you got to factor in your equipment. You paid for the equipment. Was it a single purchase? So you already got a sunk cost in that equipment, or are you paying for it over time? So factoring in the cost of having that equipment, the amount of time somebody's spending on top of each treatment, and the amount of time it takes for them to get to other places, so that how many treatments you can get into a period of time for a day or a week and a month, so that you can, with the money you're charging, is going to cover the cost of the equipment. It's going to pay that person to do that work, and to allow you to have money to manage this business, to bill for this business, to take care of talking to the clients, and a lot of other factors. So a few things there, but I really like the idea of paying this person per treatment and motivating them to do more treatments. If you pay them per hour, then you could be paying them for the travel time. You could be paying them for the time they're there with the horse. You could be paying them to get to the next one. And not a lot of, could be a lot of waste involved in that on a time perspective. So paying them per treatment and looking at it is very attractive, just crunching the numbers to make sure that works. And that is the questions I have for today. So AO, as usual, here to help with your success, help with sharing my experiences, and that I've had over many years of business and many ups and downs of business. I've had some great successes. I've had some issues where things have been very, very tough, and with that, I've learned a lot. Learned a lot of the ups and downs. I learned a lot of dealing with the world out there and dealing with people. So remember, people are your biggest asset. They also can create most of your pains and liabilities. So taking care of your people, treating people right, and utilizing your network. The network of people here that you have at AO is huge. Take advantage of it. Watch the videos and go after those particular areas and those respective specialties that is incorporated within the mentors here. You got sales mentors, you've got legal mentors, you've got accounting mentors, you've got manufacturing people. You got service people. So look at all those and tell your questions to that right person. Remember, I do software, and I end up. I help people build custom software applications. I help people with pricing products, help with getting products out there in the marketplace, and getting the requirements created. How do you create a software application? So any questions like that would be very appropriate for me. So till next time, have a good week, good month, great holiday season. Merry Christmas to you. Happy New Year to you, and look forward to being with you guys next year and sharing and growing together. Till then, take care.